What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel, and on this episode, I'm going to share with you a formula that I've shared with my team. I think it's only right that I share it with you because you're on my team also. And so I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you sharing, liking, commenting on all the channels, not just here on YouTube or Facebook. I'm talking about Instagram, Twitter, even the Snapchat feed, going to my LinkedIn, adding me. I see you. Thank you for all the DMs in advance. And number one is I want to share with you a somewhat of a systematic formula that really helps my team stay above the rest. And if you're not familiar with this channel yet, my name is Daniel. I'm a mortgage banker, sales manager, and I lead the number one team on a national size, multi-billion-dollar mortgage lender outfit. We're not a bank, so we're privately held. So it's a little bit of a different beast because I work within a call center. For those of you who work in a call center and understand and do business, particularly by phone, you understand that you have kind of the ins and outs of the business. You have disadvantages, but you also have advantages. And besides all the other content on my channel, sharing with you the mindset and the proper way to develop the right mindset so that you appreciate the opportunities in front of you. In other words, you find remedy. You don't necessarily find faults, right? Like you adapt and you consider all necessary tools that you have before you in order to create the path that you need to take you to where you want to go. And so in this episode, I'm going to share with you this systematic formula that I have my team on, and we refer to it as the DUB system, D-U-B. Dub is an old term. Of course, it stood for 20, right? Like, let me get a dub sack. And so that's where it rooted from, was dub. But on a daily basis, this dub refers to double up. And so everyone has a choice, right? Like, we can typically go in searching for a sale. Hint, that's not a plural. We sometimes measure our success based on a sale that we can make for the day. And so sometimes we go in to the day just looking for a sale, right? Well, it kind of changes perspective because now instead of looking for a sale, you're looking to make 2 points for that day. The only way to make 2 points is either a lock or an elevated loan, meaning you have a full package and you're sending it out to processing. You've initially handed the baton. The lock in itself is basically a sign of commitment. You've recorded a lock script, and you've got, you've got that sale per se. Of course, the sale is not finalized, of course, until the loan funds, but you've properly set up and conducted the sales presentation in a way where you've earned that right, you've earned the loyalty. And so I want to share with you how to do this DUB system, and ultimately what the results are going to yield you should ultimately be 20 locks for the month, also with 20 elevated loans for the month. So 20 and 20 equals 40. If you take all the business days typically in a month, you got Monday through Friday times 4. So that's that comes out to 20 work days, right, on average. So this is considering that you don't even work on the weekends. And I want to bring you to that state to where if you have to work on the weekend, or if you decide to work on the weekend, that's extra on top of what your system already generates for you just on a weekly basis. And when you get to this level, you'll find that you're actually in more control over your destiny or your final production than we may be led to believe. And it all starts with, of course, the mindset, and mixing that mindset with the proper skill set associated and in line with the right system will produce you this DUB system. And so in my last video, what I was talking about, was a formula on how to yield the results you want. So if you haven't checked out that video, I invite you to go check it out. It's going to be uploaded the same day as this one. And what I did was I broke down the system to create the X amount of dollars that you desire, that you need. And I went over different wordplay that we have, both external and internal. I shared with you the importance of restarting your hustle every single day, as opposed to most of our colleagues or most of the people in the business or in sales in general. what typically is done, the traditional method, is that you'll set a goal at the beginning of the month, and then that will be your goal. That's it, right? And so if you set 10 at the beginning of the month, then every single day you're like, okay, I got to get 10 this month. I got to get 10 this month. I got to get 10 this month. Well, the wordplay is different when you break it down on a daily level. And so whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, every single day you hold yourself accountable to get your dub. And so I want to introduce this system to you because it's really helped not only myself, and the reason why I even, kind of created that culture within my team was because a dub per day will keep negative vibes away. That's the saying that I sent out to my team. And in essence, it's true, because if you're on a pace of not even working weekends and you're hitting close to 20 locks or 20 elevated, and why I say close is because there are going to be times where you don't hit it. And so long as you go in the next day resetting and just focusing on your goals, you're not going to bring in the scars from the day before. And that's important because, again, mindset plus skill set plus a solid system will equal the results that you desire, the results that you envision. And so that's why it's important to watch the last video about formula, because it's literally a broken down formula of how to generate the income that you want. And regardless of what income you want, if you can get it down to a dub per day and you believe in your heart that you can make this happen. And why I say believe is because, depending on your work floor, depending on your company, depending on your resources, depending on where you are, what department you're in, this dub per day may be something that's beyond, anyone's reach, or at least what you perceive to be beyond anyone's reach. And I need you to convince yourself that there is always the first of something, right? There's always that one person that raises the bar. There was always that first step in the direction of uncharted territory where everyone else followed. It's kind of like the mile race, right? Like, I think the record was like 4 minutes. No one could ever beat it. And then someone did like 3 minutes and 58 seconds. And the next thing you know, everyone was beating that record. It's because they believed wholeheartedly that it could be done. When they did it, they were proof that it could be done. And so I always followed this philosophy of the dub system because it helped me not bring in, again, the scars that I had from the day before. And what I found was when I used this type of system, I was not weighing on my own self and in my own way if for whatever reason it came the 15th of the month and I wasn't even halfway to my goal, right? I'm halfway through the month, I'm not even halfway through my goal. Whereas most, if you're halfway through the month and you're not halfway through your goal, you keep weighing on yourself. Like, you keep telling yourself like you're doing something wrong or what you're doing is not good enough, and it's hard because instinctively we will justify the solution, and that solution that we perceive at the time would be, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to hit it this month. I'll try harder next month. And what happens is our momentum flushes, our momentum, it throttles out. It goes into a lower gear, so it's like, woo, and that bitch goes slower. And it's because we've ultimately accepted, whether we believe it or not, or we say that we accept it or not, our mode, we go from beast mode to just weakness, right? Like, we were all, revved up at the beginning of the month, and the next thing you know, it's the 20th of the month, and you're not even halfway to your goal, so you kind of just throw in the towel and just be like, okay, well, whatever happens. Let me go ahead and babysit these files because I'm not even going to hit my goal. I need to make sure I need to at least close these deals. And that's another roadblock that really stands in our way, where we're far from our goal, and so then we become protective over the files that we have in place. So if you find yourself where typically around the end of the month your origination slows down, like you stop feeding the machine, meaning that you stop taking new applications or trying to originate new sales all because you need to babysit every single file, not only are you doing a disservice to yourself, but more than likely you're doing a disservice to your own pipeline and your own prospects. Let me explain. When you stock a loan processor and you're all over it, like you're just nonstop without the right approach, and I'm going to share with you what that right approach is on another episode of how to covertly persuade operations and support roles to work on your file first and work on them faster, treat them with urgency, and so stay tuned for that video. That's definitely going to help. But when it comes down to stalking, right? Like you're babysitting your file almost every other hour, like, hey, what's the status? Hey, what's the status? Not only are you ruining your name brand, when I say name brand is your name, like your name has a brand per se in operations. So when they see your name, just like you see a brand, you immediately think of something, right? Like if you see the brand Gucci, you immediately think of probably a rapper, right? Like, oh fuck, here we go. Here's some ghetto ass shit. And that's just because of the impression that we get, right? And or you might even have the opposite effect. So Gucci, like, ooh, damn, that's expensive. Whatever response you have it because, and it's set to that specific brand. So you don't even need to see the name Gucci. You can just see the colors, right? Green and red. And you just be like, ooh, that's expensive. And so these are triggers that we have and we can create for ourselves with our own name brand. And so when we have the right name brand and we're doing it covertly and properly, not only are we creating a reaction of, oh, let me help this guy, or let me help this girl, because our name brand was established properly, we're going to ensure that they enjoy supporting us. And when we make it easy for them to support us, guess what they're going to do? They're going to support us. And so it's a formula, right? And if we find ourselves at the end of the month slowing down on our new gen, like new sale generation, then we're ultimately going to pay for it the following month, right? Like every single day you need to focus time on new gen. And this is why this dub system is so effective, is because every single day you're putting up 2 points of new business. So you got a new lock or a new elevation. Every single day you're feeding that machine. And what happens when you follow this formula, right, is that you don't sweat tears because you have so much of a buffer, you have so much of momentum where even if you lost a deal, you shake it off easier. You don't feel it, right? It's not messing up your momentum because you have so much force following behind you in building your pipeline and establishing that path that takes you directly to where you want to go. Now, unless you are on your sales floor primarily for the hourly, like you got that fat base, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna kill it in overtime, bro. I'm gonna kill it. And if that's you, man, I'm so glad you found this. I'm so glad you found this episode, let alone the channel. So I invite you to get a gander of the other content. Look at the playlist, look at the last 10 episodes, and you're gonna see that these little details that I share with you almost on a daily basis are little key components and ingredients to build your pillars and build your foundation, build your system. When you hear me talking about creating an engine, that's what it is the engine is the process, right? Like behind any successful entity, business, or person has a solid process. That process is their system. Unless you have a system in place, everything is not structured, it's not organized, it's not effective as it can ultimately be. And so I invite you to consider putting in this type of structure into your day and measuring per day. Don't make the measurement at the beginning of the month and let that bitch fizzle out as you get closer towards the middle or the end of the month. And the trick to it is, the hack to it is that you got to reset your expectations, your goals, your mindset, and your motivation every single day. And that's where At Sales Remastered comes in. If you take 5-10 minutes or you watch a video per day, not only is it going to give you the motivation, but it's going to give you relevant, topics and strategies and techniques that you can implement that day. And guess what that does for you, boo-boo? It raises your motherfucking income. So regardless if I say a fucking curse word or not, I'm helping you put some motherfucking money in the bank. What the fuck else are you there for, bruh? Are you there for the fucking free water? Are you there for the fucking ping pong table in the motherfucking break room? The fucking pool table? You don't get paid for that shit, bruh. You get paid to create a motherfucking legacy. And I'm gonna show you how to create that motherfucking legacy. So stick around, subscribe, hit the like, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.